Welcome to my podcast, Apollonia Studio 6.
That's the industry, boy.
Yeah.
That's the industry. You know, I totally agree that when you get to the point where your creativity and your talent will pay you, then that's when you've got your break. Because other than that, if you have to have that 9-to-5 job, and if you
Exactly.
then you're still in the rat race.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of going backwards now though, because like I was talking to a friend, and a lot of professional songwriters with massive hits are having working jobs now
Yeah.
because of how music is monetized, and a lot of people are not making money.
Right.
So it's crazy. Like this is kind of the first time in history where like you could have a current hit and have a job.
Yeah.
It's like never happened before like this.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think pushed the industry to become this way now?
Technology mixed with outdated laws
Mm-hmm.
and people not taking into account the people making the music and how they're affected by these things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's scary. I mean, when you
Still
really think
very
about
industry controlled.
like the Wild Wild West still.
Yeah.
Oh, more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You start looking at the union letters that I get, right? They're like, hey, what about if you sign for this? And what if you sign for that? There's just so many different choices, and it's so confusing sometimes. And you just don't really trust anybody anymore.
We don't even have a union. How about that? We're not allowed to have one.
Why? What is that? It's like CGI artists. They're not allowed to have a union, and a lot of CGI artists that are out of the country, U.S. A lot of CGI artists in the U.S. lose their jobs to CGI artists in other countries, and they don't even pay minimum wage.
What?
And these are huge studios.
What?
There's no union. Yep.
They're not paid minimum wage
Overseas, yeah, a lot of the smaller countries.
to make the
third
CGI
world.
art.
Yeah.
That's so hard to do.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
I know people in Vancouver that are doing the CGI art spend, 12, 13 hours a day indoors, have to get sun lamps to do the art. And, they're barely making minimum wage in Vancouver. No union. And they're afraid to speak up because they'll lose their jobs.
Well,
So it's the same,
you gotta speak up.
Yeah, it's just the same with, you not having a union. And it's just like, we're here now, 2022.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the industry just in general is hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. A lot of people think that it's all glitz and glamour, or that if you have the fame, you have the fortune.
No.
And and it's never, when my mom was singing in Funkadelic back in the 70s, and at the time they were the biggest Black group in the world.
Absolutely.
And, it was like nobody had money. There was no kind of protection. And even when that ended, she never really made a living at being an artist and a songwriter and those kind of things. So yeah, it's the fact that though that kind of stuff is still going on now it's disheartening. That people are using, because it really is exploiting others' talent.
100%.
And most of the time, the people that are with the talent are very low on the totem pole as far as reaping the benefit of what they created. So,
Yep.
yeah,
That's unfortunate.
yeah.
People gotta speak out though.
That's right. They got to say something.
You gotta realize that, whatever you're doing is bigger than you. And if you want this to continue, and for other people to have a livelihood doing this, you have got to speak out, or it won't exist. Like art can only exist for people of privileged backgrounds.
Yeah.
And if only people who come from money can afford to make art, it's going to become something that's going to lose a lot of culture. So it's so important that people do speak out and they have faith in themselves. You have to have you have to have some, whether it's God or something that just tells you like you are of value, you are important, you matter, your art needs to be here.
Yeah.
Like you got to speak from that point of view.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Right.
Like that's why when I speak out, I'm like, I don't have any fear
Right.
because God gave me whatever I have.
That's right.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And like no man can take that away.
That's right.
And I know that. So like I have to do what's best for the community.
Welcome to my podcast, Apollonia Studio 6.